Hey guys, Christopher Sheffield here. I want to start first off by saying thank you guys so much for all the likes, comments, and shares on my previous video about indie lighting tools. I loved your feedback. I loved answering some of your questions. So I want to remind you that if you guys do have any questions about anything that I talk about in my lighting setups or why I do what I do or how I do it, please feel free to leave me a comment below. Okay, now for the subject of this video. This is something that for obvious reasons I feel is extremely important, but honestly doesn't get addressed enough within the artistic community. And that is finishing your projects. Throughout my career, I have been a part of a lot of projects that did not get finished, whether they were somebody else's or my own, and I'm sure you have as well. It always ends in a sad way with a lot of hard work and potential that goes nowhere. So here it is, the big secret about how to get your work done no matter what. You need to put in the time. When we create art for our audience, absolutely it's magical for them, but it should not be a magical process for us. Now, when I say that, I mean there are a lot of artistic endeavors that you undertake, especially in filmmaking, where you tend to rely a lot on inspiration. I'm talking about screenwriting, editing, or the process of producing a film in general. For example, I know a lot of you out there are screenwriters and you guys have your little processes. There's a certain place that you like to write. There's a certain drink you like to drink when you write. Maybe you listen to a certain soundtrack when you're going through a type of film. Maybe there's even a certain time of day that you like to write. And it's almost like without those things lining up perfectly, you can't quite get the page out. The same goes for a lot of my friends who are editors, who have to have a certain setup ready to go. They have to have a certain drink on hand. I know some people who like to smoke before they edit a music video, and without it, they don't think they have the right inspiration for it. Here's what I'm saying. If you want to complete your projects, you need to treat your art like a business and your creative mind like a muscle. What I mean by that is that you cannot wait until you're ready to produce something. You cannot wait until you're ready to produce something. If you sit down to write and you don't have the inspiration to write, you need to write anyway. If you sit down to edit and all you can pull off is a bare assembly edit and you look at it and you absolutely hate it and you feel dread for the whole project, you need to sit down and put that edit together anyway. And at this point you might be saying, but Chris, if I'm not gonna make something good, I don't wanna make anything at all. And I understand that. Honestly, I used to feel the same way, but I also had a long list of projects that weren't complete yet. There's a great quote that I'll paraphrase for you guys that I like to reference sometimes, and is that you can edit a bad page, but you cannot edit a blank page. You as an artist should absolutely take this to heart. If you sit down to write and you don't feel like writing, you should write anyway. It doesn't matter if the page is bad. The point is, you wrote something. The next day you go in there, you completely rewrite all of it. But it was much easier for you to edit than write from scratch because now you know what you didn't want on that page. The exact same thing goes for editing a film. You might have a timeline or a scene that you absolutely hate. You might have audio that you feel like is totally unlistenable, or you might have a shaky camera that you can't stand to watch. But what you should do, regardless of how you feel about the footage or the audio or the acting, is sit down and put that timeline together anyway. What's most important here is that you treat your creative talents like a muscle. And if you want to grow a muscle, you have to work on it whether or not you want to. A lot of you are out there trying to produce your own projects, whether that's a short film, a web series, or even a feature film. And most of you are working off of budgets that would honestly get you laughed out of rooms. I know because I've been there before multiple times and I will be again in the future. If you ever want to see this project completed, if you ever want to get to the end of this road, you have to put in the time. That means when you don't feel like it, you should still be pre-producing this film. When you think you hate the project, you should still be pre-producing this film. When you feel like you've been told no 100 times over the 50 no's you expected, you should still be pre-producing your film. The point is, even in the pre-production stage, when you feel all alone, you feel like you have no resources and there's no one else working with you, you should still be putting in the time to make your project happen. Otherwise, it will never see completion. Nobody is going to finish your art for you. And again, I say this from experience, when you have an unfinished project, it will haunt you. If you want to get your projects done, if you want to complete your art, if you want to be known as somebody who gets the job done regardless, you need to put in the time. To be strong enough to put something down that you might not love because you know that you're going to come back the next day and work on it some more and chisel it down to something that you're proud of. If you want to finish your projects, you need to put in the time.